All right. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat room. I had a little issue with the audio last time, so I just got to make sure. Let me know. Maybe just fine. Okay, cool. So it's wrestling time, where we dive into the latest episode of Impact Wrestling. But before we do that, just to get something out of the way first, let's just go over Iron Fist real quick before anybody asks me about that, because I'm sure it's going to happen. So Iron Fist dropped yesterday. I've watched the first 6 episodes. I'm enjoying it so far. As I suspected, the hate this show has been getting was completely blown out of proportion by SJWs with way too much time on their hands. The acting, for the most part, is fine. Action sequences are good. Yes, it's slow-paced in the beginning, but so were Jessica Jones and Luke Cage, and as I've already pointed out, those shows got a free pass on that stuff because of reasons. So I don't see why Iron Fist should be any different, and things really start to pick up around episode 6 anyway. The white savior stuff is complete bullshit. The biggest badass on this show is Colleen Wing, an Asian woman who hasn't needed help from Danny or any white person even once so far. In fact, she seems to genuinely relish beating the shit out of white guys much bigger than her pretty regularly. This woman does not need saving, from what I've seen. If I have one complaint right now, it's that they probably wait a little bit too long to introduce the big bad of the season, but aside from that, it's just nitpicks. I like what I've seen so far. I'm looking forward to watching the rest when I'm done with this. That's all I've got to say about that right now. Anywho, Impact. So let's get this show rolling. So, it's the second show of the Anthem era, and we begin with a promo from Alberto El Patron. This is following up a thing they released on the YouTube page about him deciding to relinquish the World Championship because he didn't want to win it that way, or he thought it was the right thing to do, or whatever. But he cuts the usual ex-WWE guy promo where he says, "Oh, this place is so much better than where I was before, and I can be myself, and these are real wrestling fans, and blah blah blah." It's the same basic thing that we've heard from pretty much any WWE guy that comes in. But the people do like hearing it, and the guy Patron does seem a lot more comfortable in this type of role than when he was in WWE, and they tried that babyface run with him that was terrible. So I'll give him that much. So he's not the champion anymore, but he wants to be. So he's calling out Lashley, but he gets EC3 instead. So it's nice that EC3 is still in the title picture here. EC3 suggests that they have a number 1 contenders match, that Alberto El Patron do something to earn a title match, and Alberto's not interested. No, he wants to fight the big dog, not the bitch. So he's not interested in earning a title shot. He just wants the title shot now. And, EC3 has a problem with this, and they get into it a little bit on the mic, and it ends with them fighting, and they have to be pulled apart, and so they're going to have a match later on at this point. And it's a good promo segment here. Although there is some confusing retconning going on that I wasn't totally clear on. First of all, I thought Alberto El Patron had to ask Lashley for a title shot, and now he has to beat EC3 for one? It seemed like there were 2 different versions of this. And, I don't know, there was a little bit of confusion there. Also, they seem genuinely confused about how they're playing Patron here. Okay, first he gives up the championship because it's the right thing to do, because he didn't want to win it that way. Then he says that he'd be the champion right now if not for politics. Then he says he was promised a title match with Lashley, which he wasn't. Then when EC3 suggests that he do something to earn a title shot against Lashley, he's like, "Thanks, but no thanks, I want the title shot right now." And so, in essence, coming across like he wants to be handed a title shot, which is something a heel would do. Then he has the match with EC3, but only because EC3 goaded him into it. Then, after he wins, he gives EC3 a lot of respect and says, that was one of my best matches, you're one of my best opponents, and that's something a babyface would do. So is this guy a heel or a face? I have no idea. It's like they want him to play both sides of the fence here, and they're treating him like a face, but in large part, he's not acting like one. Like, I mean, he keeps oscillating back and forth between one or the other. I have no idea what he's supposed to be. Very confusing. But hey, people are reacting to him so far, so there's that. Damn it. So anyway, we cut to a pre-tape backstage where everybody in management, Bruce Pritchard, Dutch, blah, 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 all those people, they're all trying to hash out what's going on with this tag title situation. It's like, so what happened? Did the Decay win the tag titles in like another dimension? Or what's going on with the Hardys? Can we get them back to have another match or something? And the upshot is that none of them seem to have any idea what's going on either with the tag title situation. And I'm not sure that's something you would want to tell the fans, because they seem as clueless as we are right now about what's going on. So, what was accomplished here? I'm not really sure. So, after that, we come back to the ring for the debut of another new tag team. And unfortunately, Eli Drake and Tyrus are still a thing. God. Jesus Christ. And so they're fighting this new team of Laredo Kid and Garza Jr., and I'm not sure which one is which, but I'll try to figure it out. This may have been a good match when Tyrus wasn't in the ring. I'm not really sure, because the only thing I remember about it is that Eli Drake was made to eat the pin to put over the new guys. And why the fuck would you want to do that when you have fucking Tyrus in there? No one gives a shit about Tyrus. Nobody cares if he wins or loses. So have him eat the fucking pin. Why are you having Eli Drake eat the pin when he should be on the fast track to the fucking main events? This guy is one of your brightest stars, one of the best new prospects you have on the roster. He should be protected at all times, you dumb sons of bitches. Why is he jobbing out to put over a new tag team? Why is he, for that matter, why is he still stuck with Tyrus weighing him down? Why is he still stuck with that fucking albatross around his neck? Nobody likes this. It's not working. It's not getting over. It's doing nothing but killing Eli Drake's heat. Why the fuck is it still a thing? Jesus H. Christ. So, after this, we get a video package of James Storm, Moose, and Eddie Edwards going to Pro Wrestling Noah in Japan to compete over there. And I actually really like this. This had the same kind of effect as the Expedition of Gold segment in Mexico did, where the Impact stars actually looked like real stars. They look like big deals. They come across very well in here. And you're sending them overseas to compete in Japan. It sends a really positive message, and it makes them look important. And why the hell can't we do more stuff like this? You know, I really enjoyed this video. And unfortunately, then we went on to something that I was going to enjoy far, far less. The singles match debut of Brandy Rhodes. This is something that they were promoting on the Twitter account. It says, oh, it's Brandy Rhodes' first singles match. Get excited about this. Yeah, because all the times she's been in the ring before have been so impressive and have had people just salivating to see her in a singles match, right? It's like management have no... It's like they haven't been watching. It's like they haven't noticed how bad Brandy is. I don't... Why on earth would you promote this? If anything, you should be downplaying it. It's fucking ridiculous. So anyway, she's having a match with this other girl, this other new girl, Casey Quinn, who, as far as I know, is not signed either. So I think they're taking all the girls who are going to be competing at Knockouts Knockdown in a few weeks and giving them a singles match or a singles segment just to introduce them on the show or something like that. And thankfully, the match never gets going. It never actually starts because maybe this was just them trolling us a little bit. They're kind of pulling an Eva Marie on us. They're kind of teasing us with a Brandy Rhodes match and then taking it away because, we're just messing with you. We wouldn't do that to you guys. That was kind of funny, actually. Because Cody comes out and he's not going to let this match. He's not going to let this match happen because he's headed up to here with the way Impact is pimping out the Rhodes name, and he's not going to let them pimp his wife. And he pays Casey Quinn like $45. That's like what? That's more than they paid you to work the match. That was actually pretty funny. So yeah, thank you, Cody. Thank you, Cody. So he took Brandy away so we didn't have to watch her wrestle. That was very nice of him. Not really something a heel would do. If he was really a heel, he would have made us watch Brandy wrestle, I think. So, I don't know. Maybe the heel turn, maybe he's doing a take back on the heel turn or something. I don't know. But he turns this pretty quickly into something about himself and Moose, and he wants Moose for the Grand Championship. Of course, Moose is still in Japan. But the challenge is laid down there, and I guess we're going to be seeing that title match in the near future, which I'm fine with. And I might be rooting for Cody now because he saved us from having to watch a Brandy match. And after the commercials, we come back and Rosemary is attacking Casey Quinn for some reason. I don't know why. Really don't. There was like no provocation here, apparently no reason for it to happen. I guess Rosemary was pissed off about the Decay not being given the tag titles because now I guess the titles are being held up, and Rosemary is pissed about that, and she's taking it out on Casey Quinn. The only thing I can really think of. Okay, would have been nice if that had been a little clearer, but whatever. I'll never say no to seeing Rosemary on my TV. Now, throughout the night, they're doing these Make Impact Great videos where we see various members of the roster saying, okay, this is why 2017 is going to be great for the company and all that stuff, and what they're going to do to make Impact great. And it's not that they're bad. However, I do really wish they had chosen a slogan that wasn't taken from a presidential candidate, now president, that the entire country is turning against. It kind of seems to me like a slogan like this is going to alienate a lot of people because a lot of people ain't too high on Trump right now. Just a thought. Maybe come up with a different slogan that isn't associated with a man that a lot of people hate at the moment. Just putting that out there. So anyway, and the hour main event spot, we get EC3 versus Alberto El Patron. Yeah, they put this in the hour main event spot instead of the main event. That was strange. Okay match, I think. It was a bit sloppy at certain points. I'm not sure if this is a great matchup for either guy, to be honest with you. There's a strange part where EC3 has Patron beat, but then he goes to the outside, grabs a chair, almost uses it, but then doesn't. And I'm not sure why. Why go for the chair at all? The guy was on the mat. He was helpless. You had him beat. I mean, why not just, grab him and hit the 1%er like 3 or 4 times for good measure and then pin him? You would have won the match. It didn't really make sense to me that he would go for a chair at that point. And of course, Patron uses this to take advantage. He gets a second wind, and he quickly wins with the cross arm breaker. And apparently this was the first time that EC3 had ever tapped out. And afterward, Patron gives EC3, plays the super babyface, and he gives EC3 a lot of respect. Hey, this was one of my best matches. You're one of my best opponents. I'm going to give you respect for that. Well done on that match. And EC3 is, he accepts it. He shakes the guy's hand, but he is not happy, clearly. And it definitely looks like this is going to be the more impetus for EC3 to turn heel in the not-too-distant future. And what I want to know is, why wasn't a bigger deal made out of EC3 tapping out for the first time? I don't think they ever even mentioned that until after it happened. Okay, if it's supposed to be a big deal that he's tapping out for the first time ever, make a big deal out of it. Mention in previous weeks or whatever that he's never tapped out. Make it something that he's proud of, that he boasts about. That it's a point of pride that he's never tapped out. And he's saying, I'll never tapped out and I never will, or something like that. So when we see him tapping out for the first time, it really hits us. But it was never even mentioned. He taps out, and then afterward, the announcers are like, oh my God, that's the first time EC3 has ever tapped out. Holy shit, this is huge. No, it's not, because we didn't even know that was a thing until afterward. It's just simple storytelling logic. If you want that to be an impactful moment, you have to build up to it first. You can't just do it and then say it's impactful afterward. That doesn't work that way. So that was problematic. Decent match though, I guess. So afterward, EC3, we see him backstage, and he's really pissed off, and he kicks a trash can, and he has to be calmed down by Bruce Pritchard. So definitely heel turn in the works here, and I think it's definitely a good idea, because he's been pretty aimless since the Eli Drake feud. That sadly was ended too soon. So yeah, heel EC3, definitely a good idea at this point. So from there, we see an admittedly really fucking awesome hype video for the return of Suicide. Yay! Wow. So you have this freaking amazing hype video, one of the coolest ones they've ever done probably, and wasted it on the return of a character that no one was asking for. This is what we're getting instead of Caleb Conley? You put him in the fucking Suicide costume? Are you kidding me? This really bothers me. What the hell is this company's fascination with a gimmick that's associated with a failed video game? Was anyone asking for the return of Suicide? Just let this gimmick die already. It's stupid. Jesus Christ. They just won't let it go. I don't get it. So, anyway, we have another multi-man X Division match because, God forbid we do a one-on-one feud, right? No, we just do another multi-man, like a fatal four-way X Division match. Trevor Lee, Suicide, Braxton Sutter, Andrew Everett. At least we got Andrew Everett back this week. There's an admittedly really fucking cool spot where Trevor Lee tries to do a Hurricane Rana on Sutter, but Sutter catches him, and he's going to powerbomb him, but he backs up, and then Trevor Lee grabs the other two guys that were setting up a spot on the top rope, and they do a German suplex slash powerbomb slash Tower of Doom spot. Really, really fucking cool. You do all the instant replays on that one. That was awesome. But towards the end, the hashtag Sexy Giraffe Bridezilla, LVN, shows up in the crowd and harasses Allie from ringside because Allie came out with Braxton Sutter again. Because she still has a job, because Maria firing her meant absolutely nothing. Anyway, she shows up in the crowd, she's harassing Allie, goes after Allie. Sutter kind of gets distracted by this, trying to protect Ali from LVN, and he's distracted, and that leads to Trevor Lee getting the better of him and winning the match. And so the match is really not about Suicide at all. So essentially, they brought back Suicide just to make him an extra body in a fatal four-way match that doesn't spotlight him in any major way, and he doesn't even win the match on top of that. So why even fucking bother? Suicide was a non-factor in this match. You got Trevor Lee being the defending champion. You have Braxton Sutter doing the stuff with LVN and Ali. And then you got Andrew Everett, who is hopefully still feuding with Trevor Lee. Suicide is the only character in this match that doesn't matter. And why the fuck even put him in there? You get in this hype video, you bring him back, and then you put him in a match where he's the only guy that means nothing. Very strange. Really fun match, though. So afterward, because Sutter lost due to the LVN distraction, Sienna comes out, because Sienna is finally getting to talk for herself now that Maria's gone. And it sucks that Maria's gone, but Sienna getting to talk for herself is a very good thing, because her mic skills are awesome. And, she threatens Ali and Sutter, and she likens them to Romeo and Juliet, that they're going to end in tragedy. And there was that really cool line of the first time they sleep together will be in the hospital. That was really nice. Sienna's awesome. But ultimately, it does point out that the match was really about the Ali, Braxton Sutter, LVN, Sienna storyline instead of the X Division. And I'm glad that they're continuing this storyline, but it would be nice if the X Division had a segment that was about them. I'm just saying. Anywho, we get Bruce Pritchard out. And he's there to address the tag title situation. And he once again, he reiterates that no one has any idea who the tag team champions are. And again, I have to question whether that's a good idea to tell the fans that you're not really on top of this, that you're as confused as they are. I don't know why you would want to tell them that. But anyway, he says there's going to be a match pretty soon between all the top tag teams, which I guess is basically like 3 or 4 tag teams at this point. And they're going to crown new tag team champions shortly. It is a less than elegant solution to this tag title problem, to all the confusion surrounding who the champions are. But at least it's a solution. Although it does really suck that they couldn't get the Hardys back for one more match just to drop the titles to somebody. Although, given the way Rebby's acting on social media right now, I don't particularly want to see them see the Hardys right now. So, whatever. I don't know, maybe if they could leave Rebby at home, they could come back for one match, but Rebby would probably make a huge thing out of that too. Anywho, the Decay come out to confront Bruce Pritchard, and they are very pissed off that they are not being granted the tag team titles, because they stole them from the Hardys somewhere out in time and space, or whatever they did. So they're pissed off. They want the tag titles, and if they don't get them, they're going to take them. And this brings out Reno Scum and Laredo Kid and Garza Jr. And, okay, I'm just going to say it. I don't like Reno Scum's promos. I just don't. They had a backstage promo earlier in the show. And I'm getting a very over-the-top, cheesy 1980s vibe from them, and not in a good way. Their promos are just kind of corny to me. Not sure how else to put it, but I'm not digging their promos right now. The match was good that I saw last week, from what I remember, but the promos, not so much. Anywho, all 3 teams fight, and the Decay clear the ring, And just when you think it's going to be this nice moment for the Decay to make them look strong after they've kind of been jobbed out a lot recently and not made to look so great, here's Conan and Homicide coming out to the old LAX music. And then they get jumped by 3 people coming out of the crowd, these new guys and this new girl. And they proceed to beat the living shit out of the Decay. My God, this was a pretty awesome beatdown. You know, they all hit their finishers in rapid succession, and they put the flags on them, and they just obliterated the Decay here. There was an intensity in this beatdown that we haven't seen in quite some time on this show. This was a pretty awesome beatdown, actually. I'm annoyed and concerned that it happened at the expense of the Decay, because at the moment the Decay are really the only tag team you've got that mean anything. Because, you know, Garza Jr. and Laredo Kid and Reno Scum really haven't been established yet. So, Decay are really all you've got. So I think it's important that you continue to make them look strong, because they're important right now. But if you take that aside, I mean, this LAX return was fucking awesome. It's great. I don't really know anything about the new members. I know the girl is named, I believe, Angel Rose is the name she goes by in the indies. And of all the new girls that they're experimenting with over the next few weeks, she's the one I'm most excited about. I'm not too familiar with her, but I've seen a little bit of her stuff, and she's pretty impressive. So I'm excited for her. And that's how the show ended, with the return of LAX, so yeah, that was the main event. That was the big angle instead of Alberto El Patron versus EC3. And that tells me 2 things. One, that they have a lot of confidence in LAX 3.0. And 2, they're very serious about making the tag team division really good again, because they gave this the main event spot. And that's a positive, because Lord knows the tag team division does need work. And this was a much better show than they put on last week. Yeah, despite my nitpicking everything that goes on, I really did enjoy this one for the most part. Not a perfect show. I do have some concerns here and there, but a much better show than last week's Impact. We didn't have to deal with the multiple segments throwing the previous regime under the bus this time. So there weren't any stupid timing issues. The matches all got the appropriate time. The bickering announcers gimmick was still a thing, but it was very toned down to a reasonable level this week, so it didn't take away from the show at all. So instead of pushing some kind of agenda or waving their dicks around to throw the Dixie regime under the bus, they actually just focused on putting on a good show. And they succeeded. Maybe problematic in certain points, but generally a good show. The LAX return was awesome. Matches were good. We were spared having to watch Brandy try to wrestle, thankfully. I say give us more shows like this and less shows like the one we got last week. So, let's go to the chat room. An X Division match, second week in a row, longer than 10 minutes, used to further a storyline. An X Division match was technically the main event. Wow. Yeah, it was technically a knockout storyline, but it was used to further a storyline regardless. Hopefully they get Eli Drake away from Tyrus, because Tyrus just makes people not care about the person he's teaming with. Yeah. It does appear that this is going to transition from a pairing into a feud at some point. I don't think a feud is going to be any better, because that probably means they're going to job out Eli Drake to fucking Tyrus at some point, which is idiotic and asinine. But it seems like they're sowing the seeds of breaking these two up, which I guess is a step in the right direction to getting Eli Drake back on track. But God, this shouldn't even be fucking happening in the first place. they think they seem to think like they're elevating Tyrus, but they're really just having Eli Drake be dragged down to Tyrus's level. And that's not good. Has Eli Drake pissed off somebody? The guy should have been main eventing at this point. Instead, he is jobbing to random tag teams in the opener. I don't know, man. I mean, there was a report that he confronted Jeff Jarrett backstage at the TV tapings to tell him that you're kind of in the process of throwing the previous regime under the bus. It kind of feels like you're burying all the talent that was there too, and they don't deserve that because a lot of the talent was doing good work, and you in your efforts to make Dixie, in your efforts to tell everyone how shit Dixie Carter was as a leader, you're also kind of associating the talent that was there at the time with that regime too, and making them look bad as a result, and that's not necessary. And they had words apparently, and supposedly it never got ugly, but there was a conversation there, and I really hope that Eli Drake is not being punished for something like that, because that's really stupid and petty, and it shouldn't be happening, because this guy is a fucking superstar in the making, and you shouldn't be treating him like this. Angel Rose suplexed Rosemary like she was nothing. Yeah. You know, I looked up Angel Rose on YouTube. I watched a match she had with AR Fox or something. She's pretty athletic. She's good. I've been very impressed with what I've seen from her. Look her up, because she's very promising. Let's see. Conan line, serious like a late period. Yeah, that was nice. New LAX is going to be great because 1, Conan's in it, 2, Homicide's in it, 3, there are new members, so the group is not just a nostalgia act, and 4, Hernandez is not in it. Awesome. All good things. Yes. Conan knows how to draw heat. You got Homicide in there for like a connection to the previous group. These new, there's new members to show that we're moving forward with new talent. Hernandez is not involved, thankfully, because fuck Hernandez. Never want to see that guy again. All good things. They have a tag team division now. It took years, but better late than never. Well, they've got 4 teams, 5 if you count the DCC, which are probably not going to be a thing much longer. So yeah, they've got a good start on the new tag team division. Any guesses who's playing Suicide this time? I believe it's Caleb Conley. That's what I was told. Don't really like Alberto El Patron or his finisher. Yeah, opinions are going to vary on him. He does seem a lot more comfortable character-wise here. Now that he's allowed to be more himself than I guess he was allowed to be in WWE. I think the jury's out on him for me. I think so far it's been good, but I think he's going to have some work to do to win a lot of people over, because he never really caught on in WWE, let's be honest. Then let's see, in a talk finally. It only took Maria leaving for them to do that. Yeah, it does kind of suck. It does really suck that it took them this long to let Sienna start talking for herself. But at least it's happening. Okay. They made EC3 look like a rookie. No. I mean, he did give Patron a competitive match that got a fair amount of time. I think it was something like 20 minutes or close to 20 minutes. And they followed up on it afterward. I mean, he got the promo exchange at the beginning. He got the the lengthy match, and then he got followed up on his character afterward. They show that he's pissed off. They show that he's clearly turning heel in the not too distant future, and Patron did give him a respect afterward. He said, "Hey, you're really good. This was one of my best matches, so props to you." I mean, they wouldn't make that effort for a rookie. Now, they gave EC3 a lot of attention here, so I don't really agree with that. Now, Sienna is killing it ever since Maria left. Yeah, because she doesn't have anybody standing in front of her telling her what to do anymore. Now she can just do what she wants. Nothing holding her back. Because as good as Maria was in getting people over, she did command a lot of attention, and that doesn't always help you if you're standing behind that person, you know. And unfortunately, that's kind of what Sienna was. She was the heavy, and she didn't really get an opportunity to break out of that role until Maria left. Glad they have different members in LAX, and there's not just the exact same members. Agreed. Laredo Kid is the masked one. Okay, cool. Thank you. They're going to market suicide? Yeah, good luck. It's going to be difficult with a name like that. Eli Drake didn't look very pleased when he came out. Yeah, because he knew what he knew what he was going to have to do, and he knew he's stuck in a storyline with Tyrus that's just dragging him down. Why would he be happy? I wouldn't be pleased either. Would have liked to seen Casey Quinn wrestle, but it was against Brandy, so that would have been bad. Casey probably showing up in the future. Yeah, I believe she's going to be on Knockouts Knockdown. Yeah. Oi, 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 in due time might get Reno Scum over. Possibly. Right now, I think they're a little too over the top and cheesy for my taste. I'd like them to tone things down a little bit. I want to publicly thank Cody Rhodes for saving us from seeing a match involving his wife. He even paid her opponent more money than she was supposed to get. How kind of him. That was just too sweet. I see what you did there. Yeah, that was really nice of Cody. Very considerate, wasn't it? Kind of weird how he's supposed to be the heel. And yet he's doing obvious babyface things like that. Let's see. Cody is way more effective as a heel. He does seem to be having more fun since he turned heel, I'll give him that. Have you heard about Impact and AAA's partnership? I didn't know they had one. I think they had one years ago. I didn't know. I'm pretty sure that wasn't a thing anymore. But they have been making partnerships with other companies. Noah, Conan's company down in Mexico. Have they made some kind of partnership with AAA now that I haven't heard about? Hopefully they'll get more. Yeah, if so, hopefully they'll get more out of it than they did last time. Because they didn't do a damn thing with that partnership last time. Looking at some stuff from this new LAX girl, Angel Rose, she looks like she will have something to offer the Knockout division. Oh, yeah. She's really good from what I've seen. I'm excited to see what she's got. Trust me, management knows Brandy is bad, hence why Cody saved us from seeing her wrestle. Okay. Hopefully that's the case, but why even promote that she was going to wrestle in a singles match at all? Oh my god, Brandy Rhodes' first singles match. Get excited for this one. Why even promote that? Unless that was about them deliberately trolling us. Oy. Angel, from rumors, blew management away with her abilities at the tapings. Good. Good, I'm not surprised. I watched a couple of her matches, and I've been really impressed with her. Where did you see these rumors? I'd like to read those, actually. Rosemary attacked because she hated the extra $20. Yeah. Yeah. He's like, why is a newbie getting paid more than I am, damn it? I should be getting $45 to make an appearance. Tyrus should have lost. Bad booking right there. The only good thing is that Eli got to do power moves, which he rarely does. Yeah, I have no idea why you're having Eli Drake eat that pin. Why the fuck are you protecting Tyrus? That is bullshit. Rebbe accusing Anthem of child labor for using Maxwell is one of the most disgusting things I have ever heard. Yeah, weren't the Hardys the ones who insisted on having Maxwell out there? That kind of seemed like something Matt was into, and that Matt wanted to do. And child labor? When did they have Maxwell actually doing anything? And he was just there. He was just there, like Rebbe was like holding onto him, or sometimes Tyrus or whatever. There was that the total nonstop deletion thing where they had Maxwell run across the ring and pin Rockstar Spud. Can you really call that child labor? It kind of seems like Maxwell was into it, and he was having fun with it. That's child labor now? Shut the fuck up, Rebbe. Well, by the way, Impact are doing this thing, they're having this contest, like name the owl, name the Anthem owl. I suggest we name the owl Rebbe. Because if Rebbe is doing this fuck that owl stuff, if she's producing fuck that owl t-shirts, why don't we give a little back? Name the owl Rebbe. See if she wants to fuck that owl after that. Yeah, well, the Hardys wanted to use Maxwell. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. I believe they're purposely making EC3 lose to redeem himself or make him turn heel. We all know he feuds with Storm next. I think it's a heel turn. I mean, I guess it could go either way. Like frustrate him until he hits rock bottom and then drag himself back up. But it looks like a heel turn to me, and I think that's definitely the right way to go with him right now. Just it kind of seems like his character has been kind of aimless and floundering for a little bit, and and because of things I can't talk about because of spoilers. Also, forgot to mention it beforehand, but spoiler warning is in effect, so if you know anything about future taping results, keep them to yourselves, because not everybody likes to be spoiled. Okay. They mentioned in the match that he never tapped out. Did they? May have missed that. But just mentioning it during the match doesn't really mean a lot. You gotta build, it's the kind of thing you gotta build up beforehand and make a thing out of it, make an angle out of it. I've never tapped out and I never will. You know, build that up for like weeks and months beforehand so it means something when it happens. It doesn't really matter if you just mention it during the match where he finally taps out for the first time. Do you believe the reason why they're putting so much emphasis on Hispanics is to stick it to Trump? That's what I've noticed. Brought back LAX, brought in Alberto and other Hispanic tag teams. There may be something to that. Kind of strange that they're doing it at a time when they're taking a slogan that Trump was using and appropriating it for their own use, for their own purposes. They're using Trump. They're using the "Make Something Great" slogan that Trump was using at the same time. They're bringing in a lot of Hispanics, those bad hombres that Trump dislikes so much, that he's building a wall to keep out of America. Yeah, it's a little weird, isn't it? If EC3 turns heel, they better not give him a manager. Let him wrestle for himself. Well, he's always wrestled for himself. I would not be against him having a manager. I think some of the most entertaining stuff he did was when he was BFFs with Rockstar Spud. So, okay, he doesn't need a manager, but maybe give him like a little toady or something to boss around. Because I loved EC3 and Spud together. they wanted to recreate something like that, that'd be cool. So the main event consists of EC3, Alberto, Lashley, and that's about it. Keep watching. No spoilers, but it appears that some work is going to be done in that department. What the hell is Suicide doing here? I thought Pope got rid of him years ago. Man, I don't know. It seems so pointless. Just let Caleb Conley be Caleb Conley. Why are you doing the Suicide thing when no one cares about that anymore anyway? Best era. What's my best era? Man, I don't know. I don't really think about it in those terms. I don't know, 05 to 08 was really refreshing to me because I was really just frustrated and pissed off with the WWE at the time, so to have any kind of alternative was really good. Main Event Mafia was, that was frustrating for a lot of reasons because that was so clearly about putting over the veterans instead of the new talent. Hogan Bischoff era was terrible. I don't know, 14 through 17, the post Hogan Bischoff era was, I think once they got rid of Pritchard and everything. Yeah, the last year or two, I thought have been pretty good from a creative standpoint. I don't know. I guess each era has had certain things about it that I liked and certain things that I disliked. I guess the early ones are probably better, but I don't really think about. I don't really think about it in those terms. Because I'm honestly, unless an era encompasses like a pretty big stretch of time, all those years kind of blend together to me. Let's see. Caleb Conley is pulling double duty just like Foley had other gimmicks. Okay. Wonder if he's getting paid for playing two characters. With the exception of Eli and maybe Jesse, they really don't have any new rising talent. Might as well have the DCC break up and let James Storm and Bram be in the upper card. Keep watching. Drunk LVN is better and more watchable than Rich Mean Girl LVN. I enjoy Rich Mean Girl LVN. Although, she is pretty... She does have that, the drunken Bridezilla thing does have the... how do I say this? It does have that the epic car wreck that you can't look away from quality to it. It's man, she's been fucking entertaining with that gimmick. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. I'm not exactly sure how it's supposed to put her over or get her over, but it's working. I mean, you saw how the crowd reacted when she showed up to confront Allie. They're like, he said no. I mean, it's getting her over. So it's working so far. Let's keep it going. LVN is fucking great with her character. Oh, yeah. She's really impressing me right now. Do you think when Gail finally retires for her last match, they would give her the AJ versus Magnus booking? Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. Although, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say no, because knowing this company, they probably want her to win her last match, not lose under any circumstances, even if those circumstances were losing because of interference from 20 people. No, I think they're so in love with Gail, they'd probably want her to win her last match, regardless of how detrimental that would be to the rest of the roster. Rosemary versus that LAX woman, that would be sick. Agreed. Presumably that's where this is headed. So Decay versus LAX would be, I think, a really cool feud, even though the Decay are suddenly outnumbered by 2. See how much Sienna and LVN have been elevated without Gail fucking Cena. Yeah, I've been saying this for quite a while now. When Gail Kim is not there to hog all the TV time in the knockout division, to hog all the attention, the other girls actually get showcased. And look how much progress is being made. Sienna is coming off great now that she can finally talk for herself. LVN is getting over huge with the drunken bridezilla thing. Allie is already over huge. Rosemary is doing great as the champion. She's got a fresh, really interesting new feud brewing with Angel Rose or Diamante or whatever they're calling her. Things are looking up for the knockout division. And all it takes for that to happen is Gail Kim not being there. Let's see. Thoughts on this show drawing more than Delete or Decay and Total Nonstop Deletion? Well, I believe Delete or Decay aired on the same night as, what the hell was it? I don't know. It was a basketball or football or something. I know there was a lot of competition that night. Help me out here. I don't remember what it was exactly, but there was a reason why they didn't have a big uptick in ratings that night. Total Nonstop Deletion? Okay, well, I think a show like that was probably kind of an acquired taste. So you were either going to love that or hate it, I guess. I got a kick out of it for the most part, but yeah, I think people tuned in for this because it was just a good show, and sometimes that's all it really takes. Maybe they will bring in another Decay member to even the odds. Yeah, maybe. I know a lot of people wanted them to see them use Jimmy Havoc in that faction. He should be healed up from the knee injury by now. So who knows? I'll make a solemn promise right here. If she in question turns out to be Karen Jarrett, I'll play a game of solo Russian roulette. Now, it won't have to be a solo game because I'll be playing it with you. Yeah, because JB was making that tease of next week, she will be here. And, oh, God. And with Jarrett as the chief creative officer, we all know who this is probably referring to. And, oh, God. It would be just like Jarrett to think that people want to see his fucking loathsome harpy of a wife back on TV. And, oh, Jesus Christ. Please, God, don't let that be the case. Please don't do this to me. Please don't do this to me. You should move LVN onto somebody else like Brooke or something. Why should they? The thing with Allie is still unfinished, and that rivalry is really over right now. I beg to differ. I think they could milk a lot more out of the feud with LVN and Allie still. Eli Drake confrontation with Jarrett happened after the tapings. I was under the impression that it happened during the tapings. Okay, whatever. Where's Brooke? She was not at these TV tapings. Brooke had like an autograph signing in New York or something like that. But she's still there. She just wasn't at the TV tapings this time. Angel Rose does that hesitation drop kick just as good as Sabin. Crazy athletic. Yeah. Go YouTube Angel Rose versus AR Fox. That's the match I was one of the commenters on ImpactAsylum.net linked me to. Really, really impressive. Oh, we can see the knockouts having characters now, unlike before. Yeah, well, they're showing more character now, yeah, than they were previously. Definitely. Good to hear JB and Josh Matthews not constantly arguing this week compared to last week. Yeah, maybe they read the criticism about the show last week, and maybe they made some changes. Maybe they re-recorded a lot of the commentary. It definitely does look like some adjustments were made there, and they're definitely for the better. Keep admiring the quality of the production. Yeah, we can thank Kevin Sullivan for that. The guy's really earning his paycheck. Rebby, I think, brilliant idea to name the owl. Yeah, choke on that, Rebby. It seems like Impact was burying TNA just like Gail was trying to do that with her competitors. Put that shovel away, Gail. Yeah, it's just I can understand them wanting to distance themselves from the previous regime, but it doesn't feel really necessary to me. It just seems like kind of petty, like they're kind of pushing their own agenda instead of just focusing on making a good show. And we can see when that's toned down and they actually do focus on making a good show that the show is better for it. So just get away from the unnecessary sniping at someone. We get it. You don't like Dixie Carter. Most of us don't like Dixie Carter. It's a good thing that she's out of power. Let's just put her in the past and move on. Has anyone ever even missed the broken segments? I don't think many have. I missed the entertainment value they brought. I think there's been enough going on in the show that I haven't really noticed they were gone, but I do kind of miss them. LVN is hot in Bridezilla mode. Oh, she's hot in general, dude. Why do you think she's the hashtag sexy giraffe? Impact ratings this week drew the same numbers it did when the Hardys was still there, 344,000 views. It's, I guess, safe to say the Hardys by themselves weren't the only things to keep Impact ratings up. Well, like I said, it helps when the show is really good. But yeah, that's definitely a positive sign. Also, their social media views have shot up, like a 200 and something %, so that's definitely a good sign. Wonder who will scoop LVN up. I'd throw my hat into the ring if I had a hat. JB could be pretty good commentary without this dumb angle. Yeah, he's a good announcer. Why did the IWC hate the six-sided ring? I wasn't aware that they hated the six-sided ring. It seemed to me like a lot of the fans liked the six-sided ring, hence the "We want six sides" chants when Hogan and Bischoff got rid of it. No, I like a six-sided ring. I didn't know there was any kind of issue with that. No matter how good Angel Rose becomes, Gail will be there to ruin it. Well, not yet. She's still injured. She had an indie match scheduled that she had to back out of because she wasn't cleared to wrestle yet. So she's not ready to go just yet. So we've got some time. We still got some time before Gail comes back to break out her pink shovel and go to town on all the other knockouts for daring to get over without her being there to bury them. So we've got a little time yet still. So let's make the most of it. Let's see. Been watching Impact YouTube channel a lot more. I noticed 2015 they only had 350,000 subs. Now fast forward to 2017. This month they have 855,000 subs. I predict by the end of the year they'll have 1 million subs. Well, fingers crossed, yeah. I would like to see at Slammiversary, since it's their 15-year anniversary pay-per-view, I would like James Storm to win the world title. Hell fucking yeah, man. James Storm has got to win that damn thing at some point. It's got to happen. Who fucking deserves a world title run more than James Storm? Nobody in this damn company. That's who. It's got to fucking happen for James Storm this year. Hashtag Storm for champ, goddammit. Why did they move Slammiversary to July? It should be in June. Um, I don't know, presumably to give them more time to promote it. Maybe something else is going to take the place of Slammiversary. I don't know. Maybe they want to do something else in the meantime. I'm not sure. Doesn't really bother me. Uh, what matches do you think could happen? I think we could potentially see El Patron versus a heel EC3. Uh, yeah, Rosemary versus Diamante will probably happen before that. Um, and depending on how soon Gale is cleared, I think Rosemary versus Gale is also a possibility. Uh, Not really what I'm looking forward to be honest with you. I don't know. It's still a ways away. A lot could happen between now and then. Um, just happy they're doing more than one pay-per-view a year now. Yeah. Super glad Hernandez is not in the group. Every time he did a power move, it was cringeworthy. Yeah. Yeah. Man, he came. Uh, yeah, that guy was not safe to work with at all. All he did with his finisher was hurt people. Oh yeah, I remember him doing the finish, doing that. Forget what it was called, but he did it on a couple knockouts. It looked like it killed them. So yeah, fuck Hernandez. He can stay gone. I don't think he'll be back. I think Conan kind of hates that guy, so not worried about him ever being back. I think since Bound for Glory 10 years ago, Gail Kim became the first Knockouts champ. That Gail should retire, winning the belt at Bound for Glory this year in her last match. Then she can transition to working more backstage at Impact. No, I don't think Gail needs to win the title again. It wouldn't help anyone. It wouldn't be productive. I don't see any reason for Gail to win the title again, to be honest with you. I mean, they had this, 8-month build up to her winning the title from Maria at Bound for Glory. It helped absolutely no one. Didn't put anyone over. And it wasn't done for any reason other than to just glorify Gail Kim, who is the last woman in the damn company that needs to be glorified. I don't need to see that again. Gail doesn't need another title reign. What she needs to do is help the other girls get over. Now, if they want to put her in some kind of big high-profile match as a send-off, I'm fine with that. I don't think the title needs to be involved. And if it does need to be involved, then I think Gail should lose to put over somebody else on her way out. She doesn't need to win the title again. And she certainly doesn't need to win the damn title in her last match. Because that's just bad business. That's not putting over anyone who's staying. That's just putting over the person who's leaving. Why do they need that Diggum Smacks looking bitch Karen on our screens? Because her husband is head of creative and he probably thinks that everybody wants to see his wife as much as he does. I was really hoping we could avoid this. When Anthem laid down the law with Jarrett saying you can't be on TV, I was hoping that would mean that we couldn't see his damn wife on TV either, but I'm really worried that this is not going to be the case and they're going to bring her back and it's going to be horrible. Oh, good. The heel commentator stuff last week was awful. Just call the matches and let the wrestlers be the focus. Agreed? It was definitely way over the top last week, which is why it was toned down this week, I think. Do you think Anthem should let the Knockouts main event Impact's biggest show Bound for Glory for at least 1 year, since I can't remember any promotion letting women main event their biggest pay-per-view? They could main event a pay-per-view, certainly. Main event the biggest pay-per-view of the year? I guess anything's possible, but I'm not sure there's a match they could make that would be bigger than a match they could make with the men. I guess it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think it's highly unlikely. Um, you got to think about which match would be the bigger draw in the main event spot. I just, from a business standpoint, I don't think it would be a good idea. I think you could have the main event probably a lesser pay per view than Bound for Glory, certainly, but Bound for Glory, I don't know. You think Daniels would ever come back? I think it's possible. Impact seems to be focused on developing newer, younger talent right now, so I don't think it's incredibly likely. I wouldn't say no to having Daniels back, though. Who's hotter, LVN or Sienna? I think they're both pretty damn hot. I'm going to go with LVN, though. You seen those pictures she posts on social media? Wow. Are you happy for Christopher Daniels? Hell yeah. Of course. He's deserved to win the big one for a long time. EC3 as a heel would be interesting, but there really aren't a lot of other main eventers besides them and Lashley. Well, just keep watching, because some work is going to be done in that area pretty soon. Let's see. Been thinking TNA, Impact needs to find 3 or 4 different arenas they can travel to do shows regularly instead of just doing all their shows in Orlando in the Impact Zone. Well, doing the shows in Orlando in the Impact Zone is a financial necessity because they can get that and tape all their shows there, and it's a lot cheaper than going on the road. So they save money doing that. I know it's not ideal, but this is what happens when you have a limited budget, because if you want to go on the road, that costs more money. It would be nice if they could go on location more regularly. Maybe they cut a deal with some smaller venues to bring a show there. But, like I said, they're on a budget. Let's see, we finally have another kick-ass women's wrestler to feud with Rosemary, and Gail will probably screw that up. Most likely, yeah. But not just yet. She's not cleared yet. Conan replied to someone on Twitter about Hernandez, saying, "No fuckboys allowed." Karen Jarrett does have a smoking hot body for her age. I don't care. I don't give a shit what she looks like. She's loathsome. As a personality, she's nails on a fucking chalkboard. I can't stand the woman. Okay. Besides LVN, who else could Allie feud with? Well, Sienna, for one. And it looks like she's essentially going to be feuding with both of them. They'll probably throw Brooke in there, make it a 2-on-2 feud. They could certainly get some mileage out of that. And there's still that Rosemary feud. That I'm putting my foot down. The Knockouts Championship match at Bound for Glory this year absolutely must be Rosemary versus Allie. Because that is the best rivalry in women's wrestling, those two. So that's the one they absolutely fucking have to do. So, let's see. Who from the current X division could, down the line, transition into becoming a world champion, like how AJ Joe, etc. started? Boy. No one's really jumping out right now. I don't know. I don't know if there's any top candidates at the moment. I have to see more. I mean, they've got a lot of work to do. I think DJZ could transition into the heavyweight division. I don't know if I see world champion in the guy, but I think he could do it. Uh, and he could, become an upper mid carder or a main eventer at least. But world champion material, I don't know if there's a. I don't know. I don't know if I'm seeing any prime candidates at the moment. I have to see more of the current roster. I'm afraid they're going to make Karen a heel authority figure. I just hope that she's a face authority figure. We got enough heel authority figures in wrestling these days. Why does she have to be Why does she have to be an authority figure? I've been enjoying the fact that Impact has not had an authority figure for a while now. It's such an overused, played out thing and gimmick in wrestling. Why does there have to be an authority figure at all? Impact has not had an authority figure for a while, and it's been good. It's been refreshing. You got more time to devote to the wrestlers because when you're not having to focus so much on this person who is just it's just completely unnecessary. Why does there have to be an authority figure? They're just there to make fucking matches. They don't have to be on TV to do that. I'm tired of authority figures. I don't want to see one, period. But if she fucking has to be one, I guess make her a face, because when she's a heel, she just takes up so much fucking time. And the last time she was a heel authority figure in the knockout division, the entire fucking division became about putting her over. They made all the knockouts just a vehicle to put Karen over. It was terrible. Is it me, or does Slammiversary seem like their biggest show of the year instead of Bound for Glory? Well, it's not just you. After they basically turned Bound for Glory into a glorified or not so glorified one night only show a while back, where they had to cross promote with what the fuck was that Japanese company? Wrestle One. Yeah, they just sent a bunch of people over to Wrestle One to do a bunch of random matches with no build-up. And that was Bound for Glory. And it was so random I didn't even watch it. So yeah, after that, they didn't even try to make Bound for Glory seem like the biggest show of the year. So after that, yeah, Slammiversary does seem more important. On a side note, Iron Fist has an 88% fan score on Rotten Tomatoes. Fans are overriding critics faster than the courts did Trump's immigration policy. Well, funny thing about that. A couple days ago, I checked, and apparently at some point Iron Fist had a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. And it was at that point that I just knew that that all the criticism was bullshit. Because nothing could possibly be that bad. The only way a show could be that bad would be if the entire thing was like 13 episodes of just people defecating for 60 minutes. Like every episode was just people taking a shit. That's the only way a show could be that bad. So I just knew the whole thing was overblown and blown out of proportion and all that stuff. And then I checked back later and it had 19%. It's like, okay, well that's a pretty big jump in not a pretty short amount of time. Now it's at 88%? Okay. Yeah, that sounds more appropriate. I've been watching it. I'm halfway through the season now. You know what? It's a good show. I don't understand what all the critics were hating about. It's just a bunch of SJW nonsense, taking a few little nitpicks and just blowing and just focusing on them and like, oh my god, Danny Rand is a white guy. Fuck, this show is the worst thing ever. It's so frustrating. I want to smack these people, you know? Okay. Is it perfect? No. There are a couple issues with it. The pacing in the first couple episodes is pretty slow. It takes a little while to get going. So did Jessica Jones. So did Luke Cage. So did Sense8. And I ended up liking those shows. And Luke Cage, I could take or leave, but some of these shows are slow-paced. Why? Because they're meant to be binge-watched. And they work better when you're watching them like that. But for the most part, I'm really enjoying Iron Fist. It's not a bad show. And all these critics were just determined to hate it because they were coming at it with like this regressive SJW agenda. And they saw a character that they thought should have been race bent into an Asian, and because he wasn't, they're just determined to bury it no matter what. And suddenly they're making something that's not that bad into something that's the worst thing ever, and it's horseshit. It's not a bad show. Do you really think any of these KOs will get a clean win over Jane Cena? Because I don't. Probably not. No, Gail doesn't like doing that. Rosemary versus Allie at BFG 2017, that would be great. So Impact will tour in India, UK, and Mexico. How about we get one for Canada? That'd be nice. Canadian fans are great. Iron Fist for me was boring. I didn't like it. Weakest of all the Netflix shows. Okay, really? I'm enjoying it more than I did Luke Cage. Have you seen the whole Have you seen the whole season yet? Because I'm only halfway through it. I will agree the first couple episodes are slow paced, and his story takes a while to get moving, but it really kicks into second gear in episode 6, and I like it. Plus, I'm getting used to these shows starting out slower paced by now, because Jessica Jones, very slow. Luke Cage, not much better. It's just I'm used to it by now, so maybe I just knew what to expect going in. But no, I haven't been bored by it at all. X-Force and X-Men will cross over in the movies, apparently. Yeah, we'll probably do that eventually, yeah. The only person I could see transition into the world title picture will be Jesse Goddard. Make him keep training a little bit, and yes, I could see him being one of the top stars in the future. I can see that in the future, yeah. Maybe not yet. Doesn't seem like they've got a place for him at the moment. But in the future, yeah. Let's see. Cody saved everybody from watching his wife wrestle. How is he a heel? He's not. I was upset Jade left, but right now she's pulling a Velvet Sky. She said on the MVP podcast that she wants to see if WWE will sign her. If not, she'll take Anthem off her and re-sign with Impact. All right, so she's weighing her options. I haven't, to her credit, I haven't seen her bashing Impact at all. So at least she's a little more classy than Velvet Sky was, because the way Velvet did it was she left Impact several times, in fact, bashed the company while she was gone, and then when she realized that WWE didn't want to sign her, then she came back like nothing happened. So Jade is showing a little bit more class at the moment than Velvet did, so that's good for her. If she wants to weigh her options, hey, I'm not going to fault her for that. They have 2 scores. Critics' score is still at 17. Fan scores are 88. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Finn Jones pointed this out. He's like, look, these shows aren't made for critics. They're made for the fans. So I think the fans who like the comic books for Iron Fist are rating it considerably higher than the critics who are looking at it through the lens of an SJW agenda. So yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Iron Fist is nothing we haven't seen before. Clearly it's not on Daredevil's level. Well, dude, nothing has been on Daredevil's level yet. Daredevil is fucking amazing. Even Daredevil Season 2, which, in my opinion, was not as good as Season 1, was still fucking great. In my opinion, none of the Marvel Netflix shows have been as good as Daredevil yet. That's not a criticism, it's just that Daredevil is fucking up here, and the others are here. Doesn't mean that they're not good shows on their own. Is Iron Fist as good as Daredevil? No. It doesn't mean it's a bad show. Jessica Jones and Luke Cage aren't as good as Daredevil. It doesn't make them bad shows either. Iron Fist was entertaining to me, not as bad as people are making it out to be. Yeah, there you go. See, I've seen the whole season. For me, it was boring, but that doesn't mean it was bad. I felt it was the weakest out of all of them. Let's hope the Defenders and Punisher are excellent. All right, look, I've only watched halfway through the season. It could turn out to be the weakest of the Netflix shows. I don't know. I haven't seen the whole thing yet. Even if it is the weakest of the Marvel Netflix shows, that doesn't mean it's a bad show. Because they have all been good up to this point. Even Luke Cage, which wasn't really for me, but I wasn't going to call Luke Cage a bad show, even though if it was quite problematic at times. So yeah, being the weakest of a group of shows that are all good is not, is not exactly damning, What did you think of Batman the Animated Series? One of the best cartoons ever. I have the entire series and DVD box sets right back there. It's a fucking classic, and it always will be. Let's see. And Jade can stay away. Angel Rose was more impressive in that segment than anything Jade has done. I think Jade's series of matches with Rosemary are make an excellent case for Jade. I hope Jade decides to re-sign. Although if she doesn't, I think Angel Rose is a great replacement. I like this thing TNA is doing, building partnerships with promotions. I think ROH, New Japan never wanted to work with them. Seems like all ROH, New Japan wants is Impact talents and roster, and that's it. Man, ROH seems to have some kind of agenda. They are really against working with TNA Impact in any capacity. So there's some kind of animosity there that I don't really understand, because it's in both companies' best interests if they work together, but it just doesn't seem like ROH are interested. Which has never really made a lot of sense to me. I guess I could understand when Dixie was there, because I could understand people not wanting to work with Dixie, but she's not in the picture anymore. It's just, why can't we just get over ourselves and all work together? Because WWE is the real bad guy here. They're the ones who want the monopoly, and that's not going to be good for anyone. Get your final questions and comments in now, because I'm going to put the cutoff point in there in a minute, and then I've got to go to the store. EC3 needs to stay a face, in my opinion. There aren't that many credible top baby faces besides Patron. Keep watching. No spoilers. I think Paige is trying to get herself released. A part of me does suspect... a little part of me does kind of suspect that maybe Paige released those photos and that sex tape as a way of getting fired from WWE, because it kind of seems like she wants to get fired at this point. I'm not saying she did it. I'm just saying it's possible. And maybe a little part of me did suspect that she did, because the timing is kind of suspect. Yeah. That is a pretty extreme way to try to get yourself fired, though. So who knows? With Spud now as ring announcer, does this mean they're dropping the Aaron Rex gimmick, or does it mean Spud retired from in-ring competition? I think it means Rex was shooting a movie at the time, and they didn't want to keep Spud off the show, so they just tried to come up with something else for him to do for this set of TV tapings. Spud hasn't really said anything about retiring from wrestling. So, no. I think it's just they wanted to keep him on the show. They wanted to give him something to do for these TV tapings. Rowland still got the title after the nude leaks, having Paige being punished is beyond hypocritical. Doesn't mean they wouldn't do it, though. Especially if it turns out that Paige released those things herself. And again, I'm not saying she did it, because there's no indication that she did it herself. But if it turns out that she did, that would get her fired. But again, I'm not accusing Paige of anything. We clear on that point? Okay. I also think, even though Logan is a movie, it makes a lot of comic shows look generic by comparison. Okay? Haven't seen Logan yet. Hopefully I'm going to see that tonight or tomorrow. Never understood why TNA always signed people that trashed on them. Because Dixie Carter. Because she was a mark for anyone with any kind of star power, and apparently she had no self-respect, and didn't really care if somebody trashed them as long as they came back. What do you think they should do to build back up EC3 and Eli Drake? I don't think they should. I think there was an opportunity to do that until recently, but it kind of seems like they're on different tracks right now. Honestly, at the moment, I think it would make more sense to team them up. But no, I just think they're moving in different directions. I don't think they should resume the feud right now. Maybe in the future, but not right now. Think Xavier Woods will get fired? Did I miss something? Is there a reason he should get fired? Why, did something happen? I haven't heard. Let's see, I've seen all 13 episodes. To me, it's like Arrow meets Mad Men. I really like it. Yeah, there are some comparisons to Arrow you could make. Mad Men, I guess. Yeah, I understand. There's some boardroom stuff. Yeah, I can understand that. Let's see. Paige and Impact, I'm all for that. I like to see Paige versus Rosemary versus Angel Rose versus Allie feud. That'd be a really interesting clash of personalities, wouldn't it? What did you think of? Okay, last one. What did you think of Kong Skull Island? I enjoyed it. Really liked it. I don't have a lot to say. I'm more of a Godzilla fan than a Kong fan. I know they want to do Godzilla versus Kong at some point. I don't see how Kong would stand a chance. I mean, he almost got killed by a little bit of napalm. So how's he going to stand up to Godzilla's nuclear breath? He'd just be vaporized. So I don't know how that fight would go down. I think Godzilla all the way for me. But yeah, I enjoyed the movie. Liked it a lot. Sam Jackson was awesome. Maybe a few too many characters were in there. So maybe if they'd cut down on the number of characters, they could have given more attention to them. But for the most part, I really enjoyed it. And that is going to do it. Oh, wait. Okay, no. One more. Here we go. Thoughts on Venom not being an MCU film? Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's... Apparently, Sony wants to do a Venom movie, but not one that's connected to the MCU. Just a Venom movie on its own, and I think it's fucking stupid. How the hell are you going to do that? The only way you can do that is if you completely remove Venom's origins and change it all around to make it completely not associated with Spider-Man at all. And maybe they're going to be pressuring Marvel to introduce Venom so they can do a fucking spin-off. Okay, the time to do a Venom spin-off movie was in the fucking 90s when Venom's popularity was at its peak. It's not like that anymore. And plus, Venom is a character that really needs a lot of build-up. Because there's a lot of backstory that goes into that. You got to build up Eddie Brock, if that's the incarnation of Venom they want to do. Because if you're going to build up Eddie Brock, they got to do the Black Costume saga. Okay, that's probably a whole movie right there. And then they got to do Spider-Man versus Venom, and then they got to spin Venom off into his own thing. You can't do that in one movie. That's ideally that would be multiple movies of build-up. And Sony want to just feel like Sony just want to hotshot this. It's the same thing as that stupid fucking Sinister Six spin-off movie they wanted to do that never got off the ground. I don't think it'll ever happen because of so many things. Marvel are in the Marvel are producing these movies now, so Marvel are in the driver's seat. They know what's best for their characters, and they're not gonna let that happen. They're not gonna let Sony pressure them into doing something stupid like the movie makers did with the Amazing Spider-Man series, which the sequel kind of got ruined because they were putting so much effort into setting up the dumb spin-off movie, which really ended up hurting that movie, which ended up hurting Amazing Spider-Man 2. No, Marvel's not going to let that happen. If Sony are dead set on doing a Venom movie, I don't think Marvel will be involved, and the movie will probably suck because they don't know what they're doing. And that is going to do it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Good questions, good comments tonight. I will see you on Thursday when we talk about Flash and Arrow again. And back on Saturday, we'll talk about the next episode of Impact, unless I have to work that day, in which case we'll push it to Sunday. Follow me on Twitter at TheRealFK9 for updates and notices when the streams are about to go live. And I will talk to you guys on Thursday. Peace out.